Proceed with extreme caution in this area. There can be a lot of pedestrians and a lot of tourists. It is known for people to cross here without looking. Always be prepared to stop safely. There can also be cars looking for somewhere to park and not paying full attention. If you cannot proceed safely, then stop and assess the situation. The speed limit in the park is marked as 10 miles an hour. Be aware of and adhere to speed limits throughout the route. In some areas, like here, there is not enough room for a bus and a car to pass each other. Use good forward planning and all-round checks to ensure that you know what is going on around you and stop or give way if needed. Remain courteous to other road users at all times. There are multiple pedestrian crossings on this route. On approach to all crossings, ensure you are managing your speed in order to be able to stop if needed. When meeting traffic coming in the other direction, be aware of what is approaching and their speed and road positioning. Be ready to stop and give way if needed, even if you have right of way. This will decrease the risk of being involved in an incident. When passing parked cars, good observation and forward planning are needed on approach. Manage speed according to conditions and remain courteous to other road users by giving way to them if needed. The roads are narrow on some sections of this route. Be aware of roadside furniture close to the edge of the road, and consider the positioning of pedestrians and how your bodywork and mirrors can overhang the pavement, especially when maneuvering. Proceed with caution over the high street and in this area. There can be a lot of pedestrians and a lot of tourists. It is known for people to cross here without looking. Always be prepared to stop safely. There can also be cars looking for somewhere to park and not paying full attention. There are pedestrian crossings on the approach to and exit from some roundabouts. Give way to pedestrians showing the intention to cross. In some areas of the route, like here, there are trees close to the edge of the road. Look out for branches or trees which have drooped over time, and do not drive too close to the road's edge, yet there is a tree there. This is particularly important after bad weather. Take great care and use good all-round observation when turning at the turning area at the end of this road. There can be a lot of people in the area, both vehicles and pedestrians, who do not know the area. Be ready to stop at all times and come to an immediate stop if you think it is not safe to continue. Be aware of the grass verge when at the turning area. Do not use your overhang over this, as it may catch the bodywork. When going over speed bumps, reduce your speed in plenty of time and keep a low speed while both axles are going over them. This will help make the ride comfortable for our customers and help reduce wear and tear on the bus. Some turns like this one require the use of the other side of the road on exit of the turn. Approach these slowly and give way to traffic that is in the space you need. Only proceed when there is a safe gap in traffic. This area is well known for having issues with parking and traffic in the summer. Try to keep calm at all times and do not pressure yourself to make up time if you are late. If you encounter issues on a regular basis, then feed this back to your manager so that they can keep track of it and try to take action to resolve it. As you come into Bournemouth town centre, there is a chance of coming across traffic again, as well as a lot of tourists who may be travelling in a variety of different ways. Keep your speed low when required, and be prepared for others to do unexpected things. There are often pedestrians in this area who are unaware of your presence. Be patient and use good all-round observation, as well as considering where your projections and overhangs are. The same applies when entering Bournemouth Square. In the square, keep your speed low in case a pedestrian steps out from behind a parked vehicle. Give way to oncoming vehicles and use a lot of patience here. If you and another vehicle get to the point where neither of you can move, then do not panic. Assess the situation calmly and consider waiting, as often vehicles will move off before long, making the situation easier. As with other similar areas, when in Westbourne, keep an eye out for cars parking, as well as pedestrians and other vehicles making unexpected changes in direction and speed. With any turning area like this, consider that many people would think of this as an unnatural maneuver. Use low speed and good all-round observations. Think about pedestrians who are in the area, including on the pavement. If you cannot make the turn due to vehicles being in the way, then stop and consider your options calmly. If you are forced to reverse, then check what is behind the vehicle before doing so, and only reverse if it is safe, and only as far as you need to. There are multiple pedestrian crossings in this area, as with other areas. On approach to zebra crossings, ensure you are managing your speed in order to be able to stop if needed. The same applies to traffic light controlled crossings. When entering lay-by bus stops, use low speed and lots of observations. Bus stops with shelters can present a hazard. There is a risk of striking the bus stop with the bus body or mirror arm. Be aware of any intending customers or pedestrians and stop if needed. There are cycle lanes along this route which come in various styles. Manage speed appropriately and stop if needed, as the road does now narrow in places. Pass cyclists with great care whether they are on the cycle lane or the road. Like other areas of the route that have already been pointed out, there are trees close to the edge of the road here. Take care not to get too close to them at any point along the route, and look out for any branches which may have moved. There is an arched bridge here. It is tall enough for all of our buses, but it is narrow. Give way to other road users and stop until there is a sufficient gap. When passing under the bridge, take the middle of the road. If you have committed to this and another road user forces their way under the bridge at the same time, then stop, and do not proceed until the way is clear. These lanes are narrow. Use good all-round checks to ensure that you know what is going on around you and stop, or give way if needed. In Poole bus station, there is a speed limit of 10 miles an hour. Although 5 miles an hour is more sensible most of the time, be aware of pedestrians, and consider that you need to give way to vehicles which are reversing from the stands, stop if needed, adhere to signals from bankspersons. On the approach to this roundabout, there is a bend in the road, and railings close to the edge of the road. Use good observations to ensure you are aware of other road users. It can be needed to use some of the other lane on approach here. Proceed with caution over the high street and in this area. There can be a lot of pedestrians and a lot of tourists. It is known for people to cross here without looking. Always be prepared to stop safely. There can also be cars looking for somewhere to park and not paying full attention. Turnings like this require overhang over the pavement and often have street furniture close to the edge of the road. Be aware of these aspects and adjust speed and observations accordingly. There are multiple pedestrian crossings on this route. On approach to zebra crossings, ensure you are managing your speed in order to be able to stop if needed. The same applies to traffic light controlled crossings. When turning at traffic lights like this, undertake tail swing checks before making the turn. This bridge cannot be passed with a large vehicle coming the other way. Check there is nothing bigger than a standard van coming the other way before committing. If something large like a HGV enters the bridge, once you have committed, then stop and do not proceed until your way is clear. There are schools in this area. Take great care at school run times, as there are often a lot of students in the area. There are a lot of parked cars on this road. Use good forward planning and remain courteous to others. This is the location of one of the low bridges in the area. It is not suitable to pass under in any bus. Always turn to avoid this bridge. This is the entrance to Rockley Park. Take great care while on the site, as there may be other road users and pedestrians taking unpredictable actions and parking where they shouldn't. If you cannot proceed safely, then always stop and consider carefully the safest way out of the situation.